In today's video, I am sharing with you 12 lessons that I've learned in my first year of being locked. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In case you're new, I'm Shama from Happy Living Now, where we take on a holistic approach to helping you design a life that you love. So if you've been hanging around here for a while, you know I started my new lock journey about a year ago, and recently I hit my 1 year lock anniversary. And I will tell you, the first year of being locked was quite interesting. I definitely did learn a few lessons, and that is what I'm sharing with you in today's video. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first lesson I learned in my first 12 months of being locked is patience. Let me tell you, I used to think that people who embarked on a lock journey actually had patience and lots of it, but in this first year of being locked, I've come to learn that that's not always true. I am not someone who have a lot of patience. I'll tell you that right right off the bat. I'm not someone who have a lot of patience, but in this first year of my lock journey, I have had no other choice but to become patient with the process. You definitely learn lots of patience along the journey because it takes such a long time from the point of starting your lock journey to the point where you acquire decent length and become comfortable with what your hair is doing. And that's true if you've started somewhere like I did, where I started extremely short. It takes a very long time, I mean 12 months at least, for your hair to get to a decent length and for you to become comfortable with it. And you have to trust the process and become patient with it. You have to know that you can't rush the process. It doesn't happen any quicker than it's supposed to happen, and I definitely had to learn that this first year. So the second lock lesson that I learned is that you are not in control. When you start your lock journey, you have this whole idea of what you want your hair to be like, what you want your journey to be like, and you come to realize pretty quickly that you are not in control of what your hair is doing. I mean, there are so many changes along the way. Your hair changes in size, the length of your hair, the thickness of your hair, the color. There are so many changes over the first 12 months of the lock journey that no matter what it is you had planned for your hair has a mind of its own and it's gonna do what it wants. And it makes you realize pretty quickly that you just have to give up control. You have to relinquish control and let your hair do what it needs to do, because at the end of the day, I think your hair knows what's best for it and what's going to be best, and it's just doing what works best for it. The third lock lesson is that you learn about your hair. um, I'm not saying that I didn't know about my hair before. I definitely did. Even for the few months that I was a loose natural before taking on this new lock journey, my hair texture was different than what it is now. So you definitely learn your hair. You learn to realize that the texture of your hair when being a loose natural is definitely going to be different than the texture of your hair when you're locked. You learn that there are things that's going to change as far as your hair care routine is concerned. It definitely does not stay consistent, at least for me. I don't know that it's true for everybody, but you realize that your hair care routine, it's not consistent over time, and especially through different seasons. You may have to care for it more during certain seasons and less at other times. And so you learn to realize the things that your hair is doing, and to work with your hair accordingly. The fourth thing that I learned in my first year is that you embrace your inner beauty. Now, a lot of people fear what is called the ugly stage during locks, and that's the stage where your hair starts to freeze a lot. You get a lot of budding, um, especially like the bulbs and stuff at the end of your lock. As a matter of fact, I still have a few of them. As you can see, this is one. So I still definitely do have some budding going on. And so a lot of people try to surpass that stage as quickly as possible if they can, what is called the ugly stage. But you learn to appreciate your stages. I definitely had to learn to appreciate my hair during this first 12 months. I mean, let's be honest, I couldn't stand the budding in my hair, and as you can see, like I showed you earlier, I still have a few of them happening, and I definitely wanted to pluck them out every time I saw it. But I learned that my hair was doing what it needed to do. in order to lock, and I couldn't force it to look a certain way. I just had to embrace it. I had to embrace the freeze. I had to embrace the budding and know that it was all a part of the process, because other than that you get frustrated. All of this is part of the journey. It is what it is. Locks are beautiful. There's nothing ugly about it. There's no ugly stage. It's just a process, and once you realize it's a process and that locks are beautiful, you get to appreciate it as what it is. The fifth lock lesson is that less is more. Simple is the way. So when you're a loose natural, you do all these crazy things with your hair for maintenance, for styling and all of that stuff, and you realize pretty quickly once you're locked that, hey, I don't need those extravagant type of hair care routines. I don't need as many products. So definitely your hair product selection is going to reduce quite a bit. You're going to have a very huge reduction in your hair care products when you become locked, and you realize that less is more. You really may not have to do that much with your hair. Now, just because your hair care routine is simplified, it doesn't mean that it eliminates hair care. Hair care is still important. You still need to do it, but definitely the process and the routine that you normally would follow would be less. Styling becomes minimal. You don't style as much, and then again, that depends on each person, right, and the lock process that you're using. If you're someone that's free-forming, then you definitely don't worry about maintenance and styling. If you're somebody who more cares about constantly maintaining neatness in your locks, then maintenance may be something of a little bit more frequent routine for you than somebody else, but still, styling is still minimized. Hair care product use is minimized, and you learn simple is the way to go. The sixth lock lesson is that lock care is a must. So like I said before, just because your hair routine is simplified, it doesn't mean that it goes away. You still need to learn a hair care routine. You still need to learn a maintenance routine that's going to work for you. You have to clean regularly, maybe not as much, not as often. Definitely for me, as I get further into my lock journey now that I'm a year into it, I am learning more things about my hair. I used to wash every 2 weeks. Now I'm trying to prolong my washing by about once a month now and see how that works. So you definitely learn to adjust with your hair as you go along, but you learn that hair care is a must. You still need to maintain whenever you need to maintain. Certain schedules may not work for you. Your hair may grow quicker or slower than certain schedules, but definitely make sure you're keeping a regular maintenance routine. That way you're not, just letting go of complete control. You still need to maintain control some way. Definitely maintain control where you can, and that is your hair care. Moisturize as frequently as you need to, clean as regularly as you need to, maintain as regularly as you need to. The seventh lock lesson that I've learned is that your journey is unique. Let me tell y'all, all right, if you don't know, lock envy is real. All right, and in this social media era where you have so much access to videos and pictures of many people who are locked and different types of locks and all that stuff, it's pretty easy to envy what someone has, to the point where you now start wishing your hair looked like them, even though they've been far along their journey, much further along their journey than you are. You still, certain part of you still want that. You still want that look. You still want the style. And I've been there. It happens. All right. I'm not perfect. It happens. I do have lock envy. But you appreciate your journey. Don't get to the point where you desire someone else's hair so much that you get to the point where you forget to appreciate your own. Use that lock envy as inspiration for appreciating your own lock. Remember why you decided to lock your hair in the first place, and use that lock envy as inspiration for that. The eighth lock lesson that I've learned is that you have to definitely enjoy the journey. Appreciate the journey no matter what. This is my second set of locks, and I have learned to embrace every single stage along the way. All right, that's why I said earlier, there's no ugly stage. You have to remember that locks are beautiful. There's a process to it, and appreciate that. No, I'm not perfect. Like I said, there are times when I find myself wanting my hair to look like some everybody else is, or there are times when I find myself wanting to move on to the next stage and bypass a certain stage, but I have to remind myself it's part of the process. This is why I decided to lock my hair in the first place, whatever reason that was, and embrace the journey. When I started my first set of locks, I wanted to jump past certain phases pretty quickly, and I added lock extensions to my hair pretty early on in my first lock journey. This time around, I decided to forgo all of that. I started as short. Now, if you know me, you know that I don't really like short hair. I've always had short hair for majority of my life, and I don't like it. But I decided this time around to start where I was, start with what I had, and work with what I had. So I started short, and I decided I was not going to add extensions at all, and I was going to embrace it. And guess what? I have embraced it. I started very short, and 1 year later, look at the length of my hair. My hair is long enough to the point where whenever I'm taking a shower or I'm washing my face, I have to tie my hair back just so that I get it off my face. Because if not, once I take a shower and wash my face, it's all up in my face. So I'm learning to embrace the journey, because you're going to go through that process pretty quickly, and you want to remember the stages you went through and appreciate every step of it, because that's what makes the journey what it is. The ninth lock lesson that I've learned is that you discover yourself. Let me tell you, if you don't discover yourself through your lock journey, then I don't know. But your lock journey really teaches you to know who you are. Locks are now widely accepted more than they used to be, but there are still misconceptions out there about locks. People still have misconceptions. They still have less than favorable opinions about locks. But even in light of that, you have to realize that choosing to lock your hair and choosing to embark on this journey was a bold move. And knowing that there are going to be stages that people think are ugly, and you learning to embrace that, that's what makes you strong. It's a bold move, and it also brings a certain level of freedom with it that you might have never felt before. So even if you might face backlash, don't meddle in it. Remind yourself of why you decided to embark on this journey, how bold you were to embark on this journey in the first place, and know that it's just an expression of who you are. It's another expression of who you are that people might not appreciate, but you locking your hair is just some form of an expression of yourself. The 10th lesson that I've learned is that experimenting is a no-no. So if you've been around here for a while, you might remember that I did a style on my hair a couple months, I think maybe about the 5th or 6th month into my lock journey. I did passion twist over my locks. And while I enjoyed that style, I don't think I would have done it again. If I were given the chance to do it, I don't think I would do it again. The reason being, when I took out that style, my hair felt really dull. My locks felt pretty compressed, and I felt like some of my locks were thin in certain parts. And I think I had left that style in for maybe about 3 weeks. I braided my hair and then also crocheted the hair on top of it. So I would say experimenting in the early process, early months of your lock journey is a no-no. All right, because doing that, it causes your locks to have bumps and lumps, and it's just a no. Don't do it. If you have to do it, keep it to a minimum. Don't keep the styles in very long. But for me, I definitely would not do it again. I would not. I would not do it. The 11th lock lesson that I've learned is that others don't matter. When you lock your hair, there's gonna be lots of people who are gonna have opinions about it. Your family, your friends, strangers. Lots of people are gonna have opinions as to what you should do with your hair, how you should take care of your hair. Ignore them. Now, I know it's harder said than done, especially if those opinions are from your friends and families. It's easier to just, you know, knock off the shoulder what strangers say, but not as easy when it comes to your family and friends. But yeah, don't let that bother you. Just, again, remember why you started your lock journey in the first place. Hear their opinions, but live it. Hear it and live it. All right, disregard it. Don't let it settle. Realize that people are going to have opinions. They're allowed to have their opinions, and that's okay. Don't allow yourself to dwell on the negative opinions. Hear it, live it, move on. And the 12th lesson that I learned in my first year of being locked is that you want to document your journey. Um, Realize that the first year of your lock journey is when you're going to see the most changes in your locks. Your hair is going to start budding, it's going to go through certain phases. You might get a lot of frizz, you might get shrinkage. That's when a lot of the changes happen in the first year. And you want to make sure that you're documenting that. Don't become too overly obsessive with the process of documenting to the point where you're like nitpicking little things that you don't like and all of that stuff. Don't become overly obsessive. Don't even become obsessive at all. But definitely make sure that you're documenting maybe 1 or 2 pics a month, maybe a video, so that you have something to fall back on. Uh, I I mean, it's been my 1 year lockversary, and I don't think I took that many pictures of my locks. I mean, I have pictures, but I don't think I did it like every month for the first year. But I do have enough that I'm able to see at certain points in the journey where I started and the growth that I experienced at certain times. So definitely be sure to document your journey, even if it's 1 picture a month. So that way, even if you don't feel like you're seeing growth, but when you go back and you look at those pictures, you definitely see the growth. So those are the 12 lock lessons that I've learned in my first year of being locked. And if you are on the lock journey, go ahead and drop a comment down below as well as to some of your lock lessons you've learned during your lock journey. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or video requests, drop them down in the comment section below as well. And if you've not yet subscribed, I don't really know what you're waiting for, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the rest of the happy fam so you can learn tips and tricks on how to design your best life. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay blessed, and I will see you guys next time.